Hey y'all, welcome back with Chit with T. I'm your host, Miss T. It's a late night show, and we're dripping with drama because these celebs are cutting up from courtroom to clapbacks. Our theme tonight is clapbacks, court dates, and celebrity chaos. And baby, it's giving everything. We've got T.I., Tiny fighting after their $71 million win gets chopped down in court. hmm Shannon Sharpe's legal mess just took a turn or a twist, and the judge ain't happy. Chris Brown, one of my favorite artists, back in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. And after we take a brief break, we're going to get deep into Cardi B, back at the haters, right? She's clapped back at the haters, the breakup rumors, and the nonsense about her smelling like a BBL. Girl, bye. Get your tea, get in your pajamas, or whatever you got going on, depending on when you listen to this, and let's get into it. Okay? All right, let's go.
We listen, we don't judge, we keep it low. A place where you can be free.
Now, y'all, let's get into it. So, I didn't add this one. This is an extra, and I wanted to touch on it real quick. It's about our guy Columbus Short. If you remember him, he played in a lot of things. I was actually surprised how many things he played in. So, anyway, it's one thing to argue behind closed doors, but when the police, a puppy, and a restraining order get involved, ooh, Columbus Short and his wife just took domestic drama to a whole new level. All right, let's get into a little bit more about him. Let's see here. So it looks like he got a restraining order against his wife, Jaya Jackson, on July 13th, 2025. And you know that was what, yesterday? All right, let's keep going. What else do we want to know about Columbus Short? Yeah, I was trying to remember. I was trying to think about all the different things he's been in. I've seen him in a multitude of things, and I could not like remember what he was in. Anyway, I pulled the list. He's been around a long time. He's been in a lot of shows, so I thought I pulled just a short, brief list on what he's been in. Um, I was trying to think what came to mind, but like I said, he's been in a lot. Quantum. Anyway, I won't go down the list. We'll keep going. Okay. So here we go. Anyway, what we do know before we get on to T.I. and Tiny about the actress Columbus Short is that he filed for a temporary restraining order against his wife. We talked about that. He says she kicked their 10-week-old puppy. And oh my goodness. And when he stepped in, she allegedly punched him in the face, leaving his eyes cut and bruised. Wow, that's crazy. Cops were called by the neighbor, and Ada was reportedly arrested. Columbus also claims she's been emotionally and physically abusive. Wow. Brandishing knives, biting, and acting out in front of their kids. He's asking for her to be removed from the home, but still wants her to pay rent. Oh no. So anyway, like I said, I hadn't heard about him from him lately, but that's what we have. So whether it's Columbus or anyone else, domestic violence, especially with kids and animals involved, is serious red flag. And even if half of what he's claiming is true, then the man is in dangerous situation. So sounds like he got out of the situation and moved on, but it's crazy to hear him being. I just have heard ever heard him being in trouble for anything. My first time hearing him not in trouble, but being in the light or having anything like domestic violence. But nevertheless, tell me, what do you think? Is Columbus finally putting himself and his kids first? I would say yes, even though I'm answering the question. Should Ada face charges if the puppy abuse is true? And what does it say when men are the ones asking for protection? Now, you know that is different. We don't hear this very often. Most men are nervous about coming out, right? They don't want to come out and say anything. But good for him for speaking up on behalf of keeping his pets and his children safe. And I know they've been married a long, long time. So he's probably been going through it for a while. All right, let's move on. Just let me know what you think. We're going to move on to the next, okay? All right. So one of our people on the list is, yes, T.I. and Tiny. Okay. T.I. and Tiny thought they had a $71 million win, but the judge just flipped the script. Now they're walking away with way less unless they fight back. Should they fight for their money? Let's get into the details, okay? Let's get into the details. So yeah, I remember this. They won. I remember everything. They were celebrating. This is what we do know. In January, T.I. and Tiny won the $71 million in a lawsuit against the MGA Entertainment, the Brad's doll
I'm going to be
maker, over.
open, transparent, and defend myself.
Uh-oh, let's go back. Hold on. We're not ready for him yet. We're not ready yet. Okay, let's go back. Anyway, so nevertheless, remember they won. It was the LOL Surprise OMG dolls, right? On July 9th of 2025, a federal judge reduced what the award to just $17 million to, in damages, plus only $1 in punitive damages. Why? Okay, that's what I say. Like, really, that's a huge chop. It's almost a slap in the face, right? Anyway, I mean, keep stick to details. Why the judge rules that Ti and Tiny didn't prove MGA and um, inter- internally copied their brand or trade dress. Interesting. Ti and Tiny have rejected the symbolic dollar and now say they may push for a new trial. Well, I mean that's a big chop, y'all. I mean, what's that about? And how did they flip that up? If they won, I guess they can do that. They came back. Um, well, here's the deal. Ti and Tiny didn't just fight for a check; they were fighting for something bigger: recognition and respect for Black creativity. Getting knocked down from 71 million to 18 million, yeah, like I said, it's a slap in the face. But you know what? I hope they fight. I hope they fight. But if they don't, then I totally understand because court is tiring, honey. It can drag out forever and ever, and it might cost them way more money and time and energy than the actual amount that they're suing for. So with that being said, I don't think this is about dolls anymore. This is about who gets to profit off our ideas. And honestly, I hope they push forward because they got a point, right? Um. Anyway, here's my question for you. Do you think Ti and Tiny should take the 18 million and move on? Not the one, the 18 million. Like I said, that's a big difference between 71 million. But there's the question. The next question for you: or should they keep pushing for justice and go back to trial? And how often do you think Black creators get robbed like this in the industry? Just a question, something to ponder. So yeah, let's okay, we're gonna move on to the next section. That's something to think about. Just a second. Let's see here. Let me take care of this. Right. Okay, moving on. All right. Moving on to
I'm
the
going to be
next.
open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty.
So Shannon Sharpe, as you can tell, that's the man on the screen, and Shannon's been in the news. Shannon Sharpe's got a $50 million defamation lawsuit on his hands, right? And then when it came time to show up in court, honey, the plaintiff's legal team ghosted the judge. Now the court is side eyeing everybody. Is this a real case or a messy distraction? This is what we know. We know Shannon was sued for 50 million. And during a recent court hearing, neither the plaintiff's lawyers, guess who? Guess who? Tony Busby or Micah Nash showed up. Judge Anna Albertson publicly expressed her disappointment that the plaintiff wasn't represented in court. Well, let's keep going to let's read some of what is being said here. So the first hearing of the Shannon Sharpe assault lawsuit in Nevada was derailed Wednesday when the accuser attorney failed to appear in court. Let's skip down. We're not going to read everything. I kind of already touched on it. And if you know, Tony Buzz's been in a lot of cases. He's actually out of Louisiana. It says he's a Texas attorney, but I thought he was out of Louisiana. But moving on. The Texas Tony Busby, the Texas attorney representing the Jane Doe suing Sharpe, issued a statement to the Daily Mail explaining that miscommunication, right? So that's why he wasn't there. He said because miscommunication. Really? There was an agreement to reset the hearing with Mr. Sharpe's lead course. So Busby and Daily Mail in an email, a miscommunication on Sharpe's legal team obviously occurred. Let's see, what else? I'm just going to skip over a little bit. I'm not going to read everything. So basically, they didn't show up to court. Basically, they didn't show up, which is crazy. Um, so the Las Vegas news outlet also reported that the judge, Miss Ann Aberson, expressed her disappointment in Busby's absence Wednesday before the miscommunication. Now, the only thing about this that actually stood out, and maybe I didn't really share enough information, is the judge. It's the judge made it sound like she was disappointed that Sharpe didn't just like drop the case. That's what it sounded like. So I thought that was weird because then that kind of shows that she's not being neutral. And as a judge, from my understanding, it's supposed to be neutral. So that really is really the gist of that. That's kind of all I got out of that, right? Let's continue. Let's see here. So that's pretty much it. They moved the case, and the hearing is scheduled for September the 3rd. All right, so let's get into one of my other people. Yay, one of my favorite people. Some people like him, some people don't, but let's get into it. Chris Brown, okay? Chris Brown is back in the headlines, but this time it's not for your music or drama with a celebrity ex. It's a serious courtroom situation overseas. And I did put a video about that previously, so check that out. Um, let's see here, just a second, get more into what we do know. So, what we do know is back in February of 2023, Chris Brown was accused of assaulting a music producer, Abraham, I think it's Dow, Diaw, at a London nightclub. The claim, Chris allegedly hit him over the head with a bottle, then kicked him while unconscious. And this, every time I hear this or see this, like I said, I did a video about it. It still sounds a little far-fetched. I don't know what he did or didn't do it, but it sounds crazy to me. Fast forward on May 2025, Brown was arrested in Manchester, but later released on a $25 million bill. Not 25, honey, $5 million bill. And I think it's like 3.5 in US dollars. Don't hold me to that. In June 2025, he pleaded not guilty to grievous bodily harm, right? On July 11th, as in 2025, he added two more not guilty pleas: assault, occasioning actual bodily harm, and possession of a weapon. Yes, the bottle is being considered the weapon. I could see that. Despite it all, Chris is still touring, and the trial is set for October 2026. So here's the deal. Look, Chris Brown stays in some mess. I like Chris Brown, but he does kind of stay in trouble. You know what I mean? And we're going to see how this goes out. It doesn't appear that they're going to let Chris off. They've already charged them quite a bit of money. And the big thing about this is serious, right? Because it's an international felony case. And this is called Real Consequences for Chris. Like I said, right now he's able to tour. But in cases, he doesn't go back to trial to October 2026. So this is a little, I don't know, Chris. It's not looking good, but hey, we'll see. The question is, do they have proof? Can they prove it? That's really the question. But yeah. And this is a whole nother criminal trial. Oh my goodness. I hope this doesn't turn into you know what. Okay, we've already been dealing with all these different celebrities in court. I hope this doesn't turn into a thing, but it's not looking too good. Okay. And again, We'll see what happens, but right now he's touring. But here's my question for you, okay? Do you believe this is another chapter in Chris Brown's troubled history? Or is he being targeted because of his past? Let me know. Should he be touring with the serious charges hanging over him? I would say, in my opinion, yes. And he definitely needs to be touring, okay? Do you think that drops do you think that drop civil case means he's in the clear or is the worst yet to come? I don't think they're done. I don't think they're done. Honestly, I don't think they're done. I do. I think they're not done with Chris at all, in my opinion. I think they're yeah, we're gonna see, but I don't think so. It just doesn't look good. It looks serious. Anyway, let me know what you think about that. Okay. Now, before we move on to our last segment, and it's a bit long, we're going to have a brief break. I'm going to come back and we're going to get into Cardi B and I have lots on Cardi B. Okay. So hold tight. We'll be right back. We're going to take a short break. Okay. Just a moment. Okay. Just a moment.
Sometimes you need solutions and sometimes it's just a vibe. In good chat therapy. I think I need good chat therapy. Good chat therapy. Tell you all my secrets, it's safe to keep them. Sharing our dreams and the whys and reasons. Since our last conversation, my girl's been waiting. And me updating, they're my salvation. When I wanna break down and crash out, they won't. That's what friendship's about.
Okay, y'all, welcome back. That's why it's going to be a brief, short break. And we're going to get into Cardi B. Before I get into Cardi B, if you're a new subscriber, I do appreciate you subscribing to the channel. And if you're just coming through, thank you for dropping through. Okay, let's get into it, all right? Let's get into it. Cardi had, and by the way, Cardi had so much going on. I didn't know which way to start. She has so much going on, but let's get into it, okay? So first, folks came for her relationship. Then they said she smelled like a stinky BBL. Now she's getting sued. Guess what I said? Cardi B said enough is enough, and she's clapping back on all fronts. So let's continue to get into what I have, okay? All right, let's keep going. All right. So, nevertheless, Cardi's being sued, all right? Saying that she owes some amount of money that she rented the property, which I don't know if I necessarily believe this at all. Like, I really don't. But let's get into it. It says we paid those people $10,000 in cash to rent the property for a whole 24 hours. That same day, 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. the next morning, and we went over about 1 hour, which we paid overage fees to the realtor for in March. There were cameras all over, and both the realtors and the owners was there the entire time. I got pics and videos, let's see, of them on set. Now they want to, oh my, Vanessa's trying to say we told them it was a TikTok video and that was nowhere in the contract, and likely they didn't hear to pay those people $10,000 in cash. Oh wow. Trying to get into, let's see here. Let's see what else. Anyway, that's what they're stating. They're just saying that they that she didn't pay them, which I'm not gonna lie. I don't believe that. Let's get into the next one, right? Anyway, nevertheless, that's what they're saying. They are put out anything. Let's get into the next one. The main thing I think everyone wants to talk about, right? So Cardi B reacts after a brutal BB. Anyway, let's talk about this real quick. So listen, I have seen and heard so many rumors online about Cardi B and the BBL, the smell, the rumor, all the things. They said they were broken up. They said she smelled, da 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 da. Well, I just started to just give you an example, a sample of what people are saying. Okay. Cardi B reacts after brutal BBL smear rumor linked in Stefan Diggs breakup goes viral. So let's continue to go forth. And I honestly did not believe that they were broken up at all because I think everybody was triggered when she took everything down for social media and they were like, what's going on? But let's get into why I didn't even think they were broken up. And I think that they're still together. And why? Let's get into the why right now. Okay, let's get into it. Here's one reason why.
Hey, 10 more, folks. 10, good. There you go. Now you put some smoke on it. What is that? That makes so easy. It's the blueprint.
So that's the first reason. One reason I say that's because Stefan Diggs he did post that like just right after people were saying it just to show that hey they're working out together, and that's the first reason. Let's move on to the second reason, and it's because Cardi spoke out herself. Okay, in Cardi's fashion. I'm only gonna play a little bit because you know Cardi's mouth, so I'm not gonna play everything, but let's get into it. Okay.
Why can't she keep a man? First of all, babe, I was married for 7 years. I put a $500,000 ring on my finger 2 times. I left. Didn't left me. And I have right now that love me down, protect me down, love me down, fly to me every weekend. A man don't make me. I make a lot of bread, but I know how he got to come over here. I am a talented, rich, bad, creative bad. I'm good at everything that I do. I'm looking for a that is a partner. I never wanted to depend on a man.
So there you have it. That's one of my main reasons they clearly are not there together. She clearly stated they're together. She said he loved her down. He's loving her down. He's flying in every weekend. She just said it. So that's one of the other reasons. Now, why they removed everything? I think Stefan maybe a bit private. I think I heard that somewhere. Don't hold me to it. I think he may have wanted her to take that down just because he's kind of private and he didn't want her sharing so much about what's going on with them, even though we've seen everything, right? So yeah, but here's the deal. People, stay playing on Cardi's name, so she thought she'd speak out, which she does in her way, and she did. So it's very clear. Now, as far as the lawsuit goes and the rental property and all of that, I honestly I don't know what that's about. I think that's a money grab on be like, I don't even make any sense. Doesn't even sound like Cardi. Cardi has plenty of coins, and why wouldn't she pay them? So I don't know about that. So so let's not act like Cardi don't know how to take care of herself, right? So anyway, just the whole thing with Stefan and Cardi, nothing to say. I think they're growing together. And there's one more thing I wanted to mention. And I did pull and I looked and I searched and searched and searched. There's really no proof of people are saying that Cardi B is pregnant by Stefan. Now, I know they said she has a little bit of a bump, and I looked because I like to have proof before I share, but I didn't really see that. She didn't say she was pregnant by him. I'm not gonna get a hold on to that till she says she is, but I don't think that she's pregnant. I don't. But nevertheless, let me know what you think. Do you think Cardi and Stefan are still going strong after what I've shared and what you've probably seen online already? Do you? And why do folks come to women who are loud, confident, and loved out loud? Why do they come for women who are loud, confident, and loved out loud? And what's up with these random lawsuits? Real issue or just attention grabbing? I don't know about that. That's concerning. Drop it in the comments because I know y'all got opinions on this one. So let me know what y'all think in the comment section. If you're going to replay, let me know, okay? How you feel about the whole thing. So let's do our wrap up. Okay, we're going to wrap up what we talked about. So basically, now just so you know, I didn't cover Tyler Perry. I'm going to come back and do a separate video for Tyler. Just going to do a separate video. I didn't want to crunch it all in this live, so I'll do a separate one. Let's run it down on what we talked about tonight. So first, we spoke on our guy, the actor, the one I forget his name, but our guy, the actor, and which is weird because it is strange to hear that someone's being beat by their partner, But apparently his wife is jumping him and beating him. So his name was Columbus. That's right, Columbus Short. But nevertheless, we talked about Columbus Short and how he's dealing with domestic violence and his wife, which again is just rare, but it does happen. Men are can be in domestic violence as well. We talked about or touched on the update on T.I. and Tiny's lawsuit, and we talked about how the $71 million was, wow, my goodness, was minimized down to like 18 million, which is ridiculous. I think so, but it was slashed down. I know they're disappointed. We touched on that. We definitely had to talk about Shannon Sharpe and update on his case, which is really just an update how um the lady their side didn't show up, which is weird. They didn't show up for court. The attorney didn't show up or anything. But nevertheless, we talked about that. And we definitely talked about Chris Brown's legal issues. And that's really more of an update as well, because this has been going on for quite some time. And we'll just keep following the case on Chris. There's not much to really say. And we'll see what happens next with him. And lastly, we talked about Miss Cardi B. And Cardi B does have a lot going on. I mean, she does. Between she clapped back, the breakup rumors, the stinky BBL. Someone's trying to sue her about a rental property. What was the other one? Yeah, someone said she might be pregnant. I think we addressed all of those. And I think that's all I have for sports Cardi right now. She stays hot in the news there, okay? All right, well, this is Chit Chat with T. I'm your host, Miss T. It's been an absolute pleasure. We're getting ready to head on out. I will be back with another one because I want to touch on a couple more people. I couldn't get it in. I don't want to make the videos really long. But to those who subscribe to the channel, like the video, or even just came through and listened, or even shared the videos, I do appreciate you. This is Chit Chat with T. I'm your host, Miss T. Have a good night. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Break down and crash out. They won't. That's what friendship's about. Failure or success. We're a circle of trust. Medicine that takes. It's a party inside. Sometimes you need solutions and sometimes it's just a vibe. In group chat, there